Well, it actually happened. Those crazy kids over at LSS made Ira an adult hero. And not a new version, no. The OG +1 Ira in true form as an adult with 40 health. And this is very intriguing to me because she's proven herself time and time again to be the ultimate toolbox hero. And she's available this weekend at your LGS as part of the global 5th anniversary celebration. So today, let's talk the ultimate toolbox hero, Ira, but this time in Classic Constructed. A huge shout out to our channel members for supporting what we do here. If you want to get involved with the channel and the Dice Commando community, please consider joining as a channel member. Remember, these videos are only possible with your support. You can show that support with a like, a subscribe, and by leaving us a comment and sharing your feedback. Community first, and go Commando. Hey there, my flesh and blood friends. Welcome back to Dice Commando and Go Again, a fabulous cast. And thanks so much for tuning in today for an awesome Fab Friday. It's going to be an awesome whole Fab weekend, right? Because we've got Worlds going on. With the time change, we can kind of like wake up in the morning and get the pass down and then forge ahead with our day. It's pretty cool. You got to like that. But on top of that, with Worlds and everything, that's right, it is the 5th anniversary weekend. And with that comes Ira, right? She'll be legal as of November 2nd. You can go down to your LGS, and if your LGS has enough of them, you'll be able to grab one, and hopefully you'll get one, because Ira is going to be something special, and I am really excited to see where she lands. Could be good, could be bad, could be mid. That's a pretty safe statement to say. Could be good, could be bad, or could be in the middle. I think I nailed that one. But yeah, today I do want to talk about Ira. Now, one quick note, we are marching ever closer to the Calling Portland coming November 22nd to November 24th. Along with that is the first Commoner Battle Hardened, which is, I think, so apropos for our little city. But I'm also pleased to announce that as part of that, I'm actually able to give away a free entry into that Commoner Battle Hardened here on the channel. And that is courtesy of Travis over at Fab Events, Fab Foundry and Fab Events. Now, to be eligible for this, all you have to do is leave a comment on either this or any other video between the date, any other with my videos, to be clear, between the dates of November 1st and November 10th. And I will announce the winner on November 11th so that you can plan your drive or your flight or whatever it may be to come play Commoner here in the Rose City. Should be pretty sweet. Not should be, will be pretty sweet. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about Ira. Now, do we really need to cover what she does? She's the OG of the OG heroes. Your second attack each turn gains +1. That's what Ira does. So Ira, in her current form, becoming an adult hero is actually really interesting because myself included, many others for many, many years of Flesh and Blood had talked about how Ira, as a Blitz hero, if she were to become a CC hero, would probably be too good. Now, things have changed a lot in the 5 years, and obviously with the 5th year anniversary coming this weekend, or it's already come, but the celebration this weekend, you get it. 5 years of Flesh and Blood is different, right? Especially if you look at Mistveil and stuff like that. So I think it's fair to say that Ira is, at least the developers do not think that Ira is too good for CC, at least not anymore. And, later on when we talk about meta impact, I think it's fair to say that she'll land probably somewhere in the near to top, but we will certainly see as we go forward. Now, Ira is not a combo ninja. Right now, that doesn't mean she doesn't play combo cards, or cards, I should say, with the combo trait. But what she's really trying to do is outvalue. You're going to see her play a lot of defense reactions, a lot of really good blocks, and she's just going to come for 2 card hands, being a pitch and usually a play, 1-2-1-5, 1-2-7 with on hits, as it may be. And she's really just going to try and outvalue you all game. Okay. Now, what really is cool about Ira, and I referred to her in the intro as a toolbox hero, and that's because she's so flexible in what she does, right? Because what she's looking for, like I mentioned with those Kodachis, it's a 1-2-1-5 or a 1-2-7. You're looking for those on hits, and she can really tailor those on hits to 2 things, really. 1, who you need to target, and 2, what you actually own. If you don't own 2 CNC, or if you don't own 3 CNCs, you only own 2 of them, then play 2 and play another 2-6, right? There's plenty of them. Weakest link, whatever it may be, right? You get it. Or you can play other stuff and just fit it in, okay? And that's, I think, pretty cool overall. Now, there's a couple drawbacks to her, right? And you see that thing down below. She's expensive but modular, and I do think that's a big draw. But you have a lot of value out of her with something like Tunic, right? So, I mean, again, we've talked about this many, many, many times in the past, but what Ira wants to do is generally make the game go longer because right, when you have a static or it's not a static ability. Well, it is in a way. Her ability is static, but you have to obviously get there to do it, right? If you have a 0 card hand, you don't do it, but you get it, right? Because she has set value and it doesn't cost you cards to do that, the advantage inherently with Ira is making the game go longer. So something like a Fyendal Spring Tunic, right? The longer the game goes, right? The more value you get off Spring Tunic, right? If you're looking at other things like, defend 2 and then pop and go, that's a very set value. Something like a Fyendal Spring Tunic gives you a lot more value over the course of the game, so you can take advantage of things like Flying Kick, have that in Arsenal off Tunic. A blue card gets you a 1, 2, 2, 7 off a Tunic and a blue. That's crazy, right? That's crazy good value, keeping in mind that you were able to get value out of your other cards by blocking. And then you've got a blue 0 at the bottom that you've got there to keep going and keep grinding as the game goes on, right? So that's the real strength that she brings from the grindy side to a certain extent. Not a fatigue hero, to be clear, not a fatigue hero, but she can also deliver those on hits, which is pretty sweet, okay? So if we go and we look at a couple different ways to really do this in terms of the flexible kit, you have all sorts of options at this point. So I've already mentioned that you have the 1/5 option, you have the 2/6 option, or to become the 2/7 option, to be fair, under her. We have something like a Race Face, right? A Race Face is a great target right now for elemental heroes because they, right, lose the talent types, class and talent types. Hurts Viserai as well, right, to a certain extent, depending on what he's got out there. I mean, certainly he's not playing Runebite cards to make out his rune chance, right? You also have Weakest Link, which can target the Mystic heroes, and then, of course, the OG of the, well, it's not the OG because it came in the second set, but the OG Disruptive card, Command and Conquer. Now, we continue to see cards not as good as Command and Conquer, but close on it, right? There are a lot of options out there if you don't have a Command and Conquer, and that's completely fair. We also have 1/5 options. Censor is very strong. If you know your matchup and you can pin them down, say, I don't know, Arc Lightning with Aurora or something like that. They've got it in there. Flicker Wisp, Arc Lightning, whatever you want to call there. Then we also have brand new card, Smash Up, which is a phenomenal 1/5. The only thing you don't like about this is that it's a block 2 instead of a block 3. But when it hits a hero, turn a card in their arsenal face up and banish an attack action from their arsenal. That's just functionally good across the board. Most, unless you're playing like certain classes are going to have attack reactions or something like that in there, it's functionally good. And you still gain the issue, or you still gain at very least the knowledge because you flip it up, right? So pretty good options there. Very good disrupt. And again, this is not by any means an exhaustive list. This is just some pretty decent stuff, okay? Now, we also have some very good just straight value out of the Tigers. Now, I mentioned she's a value hero, not a combo hero. We're not trying to do like a Tiger thing here, right? Where we do Predatory Streak and then tie stuff together. That's not what we're trying to do here. But what you can do is you can use these cards specifically that I'm showing here to extract extra free value utilizing her +1. So Bettering Thorns itself speaks for itself. Card's amazing. But when you have Ira, you can extract that additional value of the +1 threat here and her combined to either do Breakpoint, or you can throw this as her second, which now it's coming in as a 5, which means that they can't just sink below it or something like that, right? So that's a potential threat. So depending on what you're going on, Bettering Thorns is first or second or both a threat. But then you look at a card like Flex Claws. Okay, Flex Claws to open, for 1, it threatens 4. If they don't block it, you get a Tiger, and that Tiger can come in as your second attack, and you extract 1 extra value out of that Tiger. That's super strong, right? She also has the ability to play Pouncing Paws and Tearing Shuko. Now, why those two together? Well, it can also set up other things for later on, or we already talked earlier about Flying Kick, right? What happens if you get in some weird situation? You have a blue in your hand, your Tunic's not up, or your Tunic's gone. You can Kadachi 1, Paws and Shuko Tiger for 3, and then you can get your Flying Kick off, right? Utilizing, and again, to be clear, you don't have to use Shuko and Paws together. You could use them independently. Generally, you want to use them together, but you have other options out there, and there's also Mauling Shi to kind of extend your chain or whatever. Awesome. I mean, we're talking commoner stuff here, by the way, right? These are commoner learnings, as applied to CNC, and or Classic Constructed, not Command and Conquer. It's applied to Classic Constructed, and they're still very, very, very good and very effective for just getting free value effectively out of things. Okay. Now let's flip it over and let's talk about the blues. Okay. It's no secret we're playing Kodachis here. Everyone's on board with that. Maybe somebody wants to get cheeky and throw a needle in there or something. I don't think you do, because I don't think you can afford to lose it, but maybe. Okay, so now we're going in talking blues, and let's talk about the different approaches we can take with that. So first off, we have the 100 wins line, which is a very, very, very good win, or very, very good line to play because you get value out of that. A lot of them are blues, right? Not a lot. I generally play the red blues, but when you put in the blues that are zeros at the bottom, you actually, again, start extracting additional value from those, and then you have Winds of Eternity. Okay, so that of itself is a 0, 3 block, has combo relevant for Flick Flack, and swings 2, right? Plus then whatever it gets at the end, you get me. Okay, so we look at just raw value good stuff. You have Winds of Eternity in combination with, of course, the combo line I just mentioned. You also have Stab Wound. Okay, so Stab Wound, when it hits a hero, they lose X health, right? This card's out of Outsiders. I think it's largely underplayed. And again, box 3 is a 0. Swings 2 on its own. Threatens a non-hit. Pretty good. Rowdy Locals, 0, 3 block. If they block it with the right card, gets a +2. You have good old Soulbleed Strike, which has been basically a windmill slam since it came out in Crew. If it hits, it gets go again, so you can threaten that with a card in hand that can then go in Arsenal. Then you have Dishonor as well, which is just, you're not comboing that, but it's just a straight 0-3. And again, if you go do the database search, there are tons and tons and tons of these options. I particularly like Rowdy Local and Stab Wound. I particularly like those. But if you're just looking for blue zeros that defend 3, there's a lot of really good, strong options out there. Now, the ones I showed before, though, don't have combo, which in of itself is not a problem. But if you want to lean into the combo side of things, and some of them did, by the way, but if you want to lean into the combo side of things, you can do Flick Flack instead of maybe Fate. Now you're playing Flick Flack. Okay, now you get extra on your combo card. So you have Winds of Eternity, Dishonor, Find Center, Flusterfist. Again, go do the database search. There are plenty of these options. The vast majority of them, because they have combo, right? Remember the combo cards that basically all combo cards, because they're the second or more in the chain, do defend 3, right? That's kind of just the ninja thing. So you'll have a 3 and then potentially +2 with Flick Flack. It's pretty good, right? And then you can actually, and Flick Flack itself is a 0, by the way, so you can actually play blue Flick Flack, which is kind of cheeky, right? So then you can start extracting really good blocking value from your worthless blues, okay? So that's an option you have as well. And then if we give a shout out to the recent LSS stream, and I believe this was actually built by our last ProQuest champion, actually started tossing in looking for a scrap, which I think is very interesting. So you can combine this with the Flick Flack build and go out and look for, in this case, you're actually not looking for the attack 2 with combos. You're looking at the attack 1 with combos, because you want to abuse it with looking for a scrap. There's plenty, again, of these options: Rising Knee, Crane Dance, 1-2 Punch, Aspect of Mind. And again, to go to the database, there's plenty of these, right? It's a great little play because remember, this is 4, and then it'll come in for +1 and go again. So you can 1-2, 1-5 with then a threat on the back, or you can open with it and then threaten something else in that +1 slot. That's very, 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 very attractive. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is I actually did a whole cast around this in the Blitz universe headed into Ira's final season, which was Skirmish Season 8. Okay, but I was talking about what's better, 1-2-1-5 or 1-2-7. And just to be clear, what I mean here is like Kodachi for 1, Kodachi for 2 with Ira's, and then throwing a 1-5, like something like Take the Tempo, right? Take the Tempo, I think, is an extremely strong card that should be played with Ira, because even if you're only doing it off of a 2-card hand, they really have to consider blocking. Otherwise, you can effectively get potential. It's not an arsenal card because it's banished, and sure, it might burn you. But the vast majority of cards you're playing in here, unless they're D-reacts, are going to be what you need. right? So Take Tempo is a very good card, right? So you look at the, like I said, the 1-2-1-5 type build, and there's other options. What we talked about, Censor, we talked about cut down to size. Cut down to size. Forget it. Smash Up's the one I'm thinking of. Okay, but then we also have just the straight value line again with 2-card hand of Kodachi for 1, and then Command and Conquer for 7, or Weakest Link for 7, or Erase Haste for 7, or whatever you're playing, because that's what you've got for 7. Which is better? The answer is a mix of both, right? I shortcut an entire episode that I shot many, many moons ago, but the answer is both, a mix of both, to just build the disruptive tool. Generally, the 1-5 is aggressive, and generally the 2-7 is more disruptive. So I think you want to have a mix of both, and that's less true than it used to be fair, right? I'm, saying take the tempo, right? Trying to build for a better turn the next time. Command and Conquer, obviously trying to mess your opponent up. That's less cut and dry than it was before, but still by and large, if you're trying to go 1-2-1-5, you're kind of going at them a little more, versus 1-2-7 is really trying to just screw with what their plans are and continuing to just kind of nick at them as you go along. Okay. So build what you want. And that's the cool part of it is you can kind of do whatever you've got and lean into it. And I got to be honest, if we talk about the next part, going with what you have, I think is extremely important when you're looking at Ira, because she is an expensive hero. Or can be. Right? Or can be, I should say. Basically, Ira's kind of like an all good stuff hero. And I do want to say I actually have a deck list published and out there. It's currently, it's a member only video that's been up for a couple days now, headed into the weekend to help team members get ready. If you want to join, check it out. But if not, I'll just have to say it's basically an all good stuff Ira type list, right? We're just looking at maximizing value wherever we can, and the deck is not cheap. Find All Spring Tunic, Command and Conquers, Weakest Links, right? You get it. You get where we're going here. Very expensive deck to max out. But in terms of the cost value worth discussion that we've had before, you can still play Ira really effectively with some of those lesser value cards, right? Wreak Havoc, very good replacement, very good stand-in for Command and Conquer. It is nowhere near as good as CNC, but it does a lot of the same things. There's other options out there as well that can screw with your opponent. Amnesia, there's plenty of 1-5s. Pounding Gale is a quarter, right? Stuff like that. Plenty of options out there for you to fill what you need based on what you have, and then you can continue to upgrade if you like the hero. And if not, you didn't blow the money on it, right? And that's pretty sweet. All right, last, let's finish up and let's talk meta impact. So ultimately, looking at where Ira will land finally in the meta is kind of interesting. She is in a mid-range spot. No, but what I mean by that is she obviously isn't aggressive. She's not going to be able to put up the values to compete with an Aurora or a Viserai or something like that. So what she's going to be relying on is her disruptiveness to be able to do that. But that's kind of what the assassins do, right? So if you look at someone like an Uzuri or a Nu, they're pretty good at still slinging that damage in there, but taking away your opponent's agency. And the question is Ira able to do that to the same effectiveness, or quite frankly, is she able to do it better? Because that's what you need your hero to do in these type of games. You need them to come in and do something better. And I don't know that Ira can out-disrupt Nu. And I think that Ira herself, she has a lot of reacts, to be fair, especially if you're doing like the flick-flack thing, defends pretty well. But I don't know that she can out-assassin, and she's not an assassin, you get it, but I don't know that she can out-disrupt an assassin, an Uzuri, a Nu. So that's very interesting. But let me know below, what do you think? To be very clear, I think Ira is going to do extremely well. There's a lot of heroes that are going to really struggle into her. It'll be interesting with Jarl coming and the Guardians on the horizon for next summer. Those Kodachis are pretty effective at just kind of, getting in there, a little jab, poke the belly, Yoji's belly as it may be, but obviously, will he be an adult? I don't know. But anyway, I think you get my point. She, being Ira, will be very effective at doing what she needs to do. The question is, do other people do it better? I think the answer is yes. I think so. But let's let the smart kids innovate on this and see. I think, you know, in a gunfight between Ira and aggro decks, I think Ira can hold her own. The question is, can someone else shoot better? Right? I think that's the real question. So anyway, let me know what you all are thinking on that one. I'd really appreciate your thoughts below. But with that, let's end this. I'm very excited about Ira coming this weekend and seeing what will happen, especially over this awesome lull, right? We always have a great lull between the end of Worlds and the release in January of the next set. And I'm really excited to see the innovation that comes during that time. And we also have Jarl coming out. It'll be interesting to see where we are come early January, and then certainly where we are in February after the new set comes out, which has not been announced at the time that I'm shooting this, because that's how time works. But by the time this releases, you'll actually know what it is. So, but that's how it works. Anyway, let me know your comments below. Thank you all for watching. Go Ira, and go Commando.